Hey everyone, welcome back to the land of Hinter, or as all of us in the community call it, Hinterland. We are in October. I managed to finish off our new field, got it plowed up, got it cultivated, and I even did some smoothing. Yes, some smoothing. You can see here, not quite as rough as it used to be. We'll find out when we get to planting and harvesting on this field. I think it's going to be in pretty good shape now, though. I mean, it was right in this area, right in here. It was brutal. So good to get that cleaned up. So we have, here in October, we have liming and fertilizing. I didn't plant anything on this field. Kind of did that on purpose just because if we plant wheat or barley, we are going to miss oats, corn, sunflowers, soybeans, potatoes, sugar beets, sugar cane. We actually might do some sugar cane on this map. But I was kind of decided to hold out and not plant anything on this field until spring season comes along. Might be kind of a miss on my part. It's a pretty big field. That's a lot of crop. But kind of want to wait. Kind of want to wait. Oh, and look what I did. Where is it at? Haha. Here we go. Check the new bridge out. I told you all I was going to look for a bridge mod. And yeah, we got a bridge. We've got a bridge direct to the farm now. Look at that bad mamba jamba. Now, after I did a little scoping around, looking for some mods, it kind of dawned on me that, where is it at? Is it in here? Yeah. Omatana actually, has, for this map, she's got some prefab stuff. I just couldn't find, this was the closest length I could find was this guy. And then from there, um, like that's not going to work. I guess we might have been able to line up a couple together. Actually, that might have been fun to make like a 2-track bridge, just so I could test my driving skills. This one isn't bad, but it was just like, oh, I could have used it. I could have used it. This one was really long. Didn't want to use that. So I ended up with this mod here. That's Omatana's. That's from our, um, oh, what do you call it? The thing up front. Anyways, I ended up with this right here. Actually, this is an Omatana. Delio. So yeah, I didn't realize, actually, now that I'm looking at that, it is Omatana mod. And I went with the one that doesn't have any edges to it, just so I could have a little fun driving off the side of the bridge if we decide to do that. But I think that bridge is going to be really handy, the way it's spaced out. The next closest one was pretty far down that way, so I think it'll be kind of handy to have one a little bit closer. Let's check our repairs on the Lambo and see how that's going. Not too bad, not too shabby. And a little bit for the plow, that's not too bad either. I did relocate some of our tools, so you can see our new windrower does fit okay there. Moved a couple things around, so things are kind of finding a home here. Uh, yeah, yeah, okay. Do we have anything in this? We have some herbicide, okay. Well, we need to get to liming and fertilizing. Those two things in particular need to be done. How am I going to do this here? Oh, that's right. I need to park our baler, but here, let's do this. Get this thing chucked away here. I think that'll work okay there. And where is... I think we can use our Valtra. for our liming and spreading. Fertilizer. Let's run over here. So happy Tuesday. Giddy up on that. The week is fully in swing now. What do we have in here? We've got fertilizer. All right. Well, we can fertilize first and get that out of the way. Beautiful morning in September here, isn't it? Really is. Colors are out. Yeah, nice misty morning. Oh, I love that. Let's make sure. So we've got, yeah, we've got our first layer of fert down here. We can definitely put down another layer. I'm thinking we should hit the GPS for this bad boy. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do a heading. I'm going to do a direction. I don't think that that's going to be... You know what? Well, yeah, okay. We'll go with... It's tough on this field. It's such an odd-shaped field. But we'll deal with that. We'll see how that goes. I think that'll get the job done. Let's see how our map looks here for fertilizing, making sure I'm not putting down a layer that... Oh, yeah. Yeah, I should have probably directed us that way. That would have been the better way to go, kind of lengthwise, diagonally. Maybe I'll switch that around, and we'll do that. It's one thing I like about this GPS mod. It's kind of got an infinite way of direction. You don't have to put in a 0, 90 degrees, 45 degrees, that kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm changing my mind. Won't be the first time, right? Let's hit this one over here. So I went downtown, talked to Heinrich. He sold our old, whatchamacallit, windrower. Got a few $1,000s for that. Not a great deal of money, but we did get a little bit of coin for that. And talked to him about getting some sheep delivered for us. Told him that we're going to need milk sheep, we're going to need wool sheep, and we're probably looking at adding quite a few dairy cows as well. I think we're going to do all dairy on the farm. No beef cattle this time around. I think we're going to stick with the dairies. I did take a look, and our cows are already starting to produce milk, so that's good news. Even on just, what did we feed them? Some hay? So even on just hay, we're at least getting some production out of them, which is kind of nice. Yeah, we're starting to see milk here and some milk here, so that's good. I think we can do it a couple different ways. There's an automatic milk sale mod that's available that I guess automatically sells milk at 6 a.m. every day. We can certainly do that. That's pretty convenient. That way we don't have to worry about ever going to have to pick it up and tanker it anywhere. The other option, of course, is to manually pick it up and sell it. We can do that as well. I'm going to assume we sell our milk. Do we sell our milk downtown, down in the village? I'm going to assume that's the only place we really have to sell it, isn't it? Milk gets sold Okay, that's right. The bakery. Okay, farmers market, bakery, port, restaurant. Oh boy, Brad. 4 different places to sell milk, for goodness sakes. Yeah, okay. I know the bakery has several recipes too. I was kind of thinking it would be kind of nice, like if we get into the wool sheep pretty good. I'd like to maybe add a spinnery onto the map and kind of make it so that, we're known for our, kind of known for something. People pay a good amount of money to get Hinterland wool. We could also do something with the bakery. I know there's several, like I said, there's several things we can do, recipes with the bakery that we can hit on too if we can start growing a lot of those products. I know sugarcane or sugar beets is going to be needed because I think the bakery requires sugar, milk. We'll have to just kind of dive into that a little bit more and see what all we need to get for some of these things. Wheat flour, like for cake and stuff. Yeah, cake and bread. A bunch of flours can be made. Some oils. I don't think we're going to get into olive oil again. We did that on Kubota Farm. I don't think we're going to be doing much with olives here, but I can see maybe the rest of it um, we can get done. That'd be kind of nice. But yeah, we can always put down a spinnery. We can always put down a tailor shop if we want to. Production wise, there's not a lot already on this map, so whatever if we get a little bit further past the bakery side, we'll have to do it ourselves, that's for sure. I think this October morning has gotten me kind of in a mellow mood. I'm feeling mellow. I'm feeling kind of chill today on Hinterland. Kind of relaxed, and because you just know how nice it would be to be out in the tractor in the morning here, just doing your thing, nice and quiet. Boy, that'd be nice. I would take that job for sure. 100%. Let's zoom out and take a nice peek around. Really nice. It looks so empty over there with the sheep and cow pens with no animals in them. It's almost kind of depressing. We need to get some animals in those things. Sheep won't be so bad. They're not super expensive. I looked at our dairy cows. If we went with the most mature cows, which I generally do, I mean, we wouldn't have to, but I generally buy the ones that are already kind of matured. And if we pick up, come on, Brad, get back there, get that GPS locked in. There you go. You could do it. Um, if we put 60 dairy cows in there, the most mature ones we can get, it's going to be about $100,000 just for the dairy cows. If we do 60 sheep for both pens, so 60 wool and 60 milk sheep, it's going to be about $65,000 total. So it's going to be a little bit cheaper to get the sheep going, but we don't have to get 60. We don't have to get 60 cows, but it'd be nice to get those things fired up and going. I've never really considered cows to be super um what word am I looking for? Profitable. Yeah, that's the word. I just haven't really, I'm not saying they're not, but I guess I really haven't like like, oh man, you got to get into cows right away because you make a ton of money on cows. Just never really have seen that in 22. Sheep, on the other hand, if you've got a good amount of sheep and you've got wool producing sheep, you can that's profitable. At least that's what it's been in my experience. Pigs, I really don't think pigs are very much at all. But that being said, on Kubota Farm, um, to be fair, I was mostly buying pig food, and not producing pig food. So, to be fair, I suppose they would be much more profitable if you were producing all of your own food for them. So pigs were, I've kind of felt like pigs paid for themselves, and that was kind of about it. If I'm being honest, that's what it seemed like. I should have kept better track of it, but it seemed like for pigs, they kind of, at the end of the day, they kind of just paid for themselves, more or less. Horses, I don't have a lot of thoughts on horses. I've only done horses one time. I bought a bunch of, well, not a bunch, like a dozen horses on Elm Creek when the game first came out, and raised them. And again, it just didn't seem like they were very profitable. Chickens, if you've got enough chickens, I think chickens aren't too bad. Eggs are pretty good. Eggs can make you some serious coin if you can get a good production on eggs. And I guess, it all depends too on what level, what difficulty level you're playing the game. But I tend to go wool sheep number 1, chickens number 2, probably cows, pigs, then horses, or maybe even cows, horses, then pigs. But like I said, whoops, don't turn the spreader off, Brad. Like I said, I may not have given it the fairest of chances. Um, just because I haven't really made a lot of effort in producing everything that's needed for pig food. Kind of did it the lazy man's way with buying it. Let's take a quick peek. I know I missed some edges on this field, but it's interesting with this spottiness. I don't really know what's causing that. It seems to be particularly on this field, and I don't know why. Do you see that? How spotty that fertilizer is? I noticed that before too. Hmm. And it seems to be primarily this field. I don't know if it has something to do with. Well, I don't even know what to guess would be the issue there. I mean, it's getting most of it. I'm not concerned about it, but just odd. Kind of interesting. Let's throw a second layer of fertilizer. Let's try throwing some fertilizer down on this sister field here. And let's take a look and see what it looks like when we throw some down here. All right, Mr. GPS, that needs to go. Let's do that. We'll change this one to A heading. I totally forget which way this is. Of course, I picked the wrong one. There we go. That'll be close enough. Let's see what this field looks like with a second layer and see if it gets spotty. Do a little in cab. Oh, speaking of in cab, I need to show you all something here real quick. Let me turn you off for a second, my little friend. Yeah, see how straight clean that is? And this is all spotty. If you all have any ideas on why that is that way. I would love to hear them. Uh, does it have something to do with weeds? I don't remember how we weeded this field. I don't think we did we? Because we plowed it. Yeah, I'd be curious to what you all think about this spottiness and why it's doing that. Anyways, there is a mod that came out today that, oh man, I thought this is so cool. It's for PC and Mac only though. Sorry, all you console players. I'm gonna try and find a good example. Oh, probably this case. Man, this is a beautiful tractor. I'm not sure we'll be able to get this on Hinterland, but boy, I'm loving this tractor. Anyways, it's called the Shop Extension mod, and it's by Vertex Float? Vertex Float, I think it is. Is that right? I can't see it. That's right. Vertex Float, I think. And it allows you to do a couple things. It allows you to check the engine sound in the shop, and it also allows you to go in cab. Yeah, baby. Isn't that cool? Now you might be saying, well, whoop-de-doo, Brad, why do you want to go inside the cab? What's the big deal? Well, sometimes when you are trying to make a, changes or customizations to the inside of the cab, it's really hard to see sometimes what exactly is being changed. But if you go inside the cab like this, I don't know if this thing has any inside cab. It doesn't really have any good inside the cab deals. Well, seat color, I guess, but you could see that from the outside. But I was looking at a couple of mods. Boy, what was it from custom modding? I could be wrong on that. They've got a case Steiger that has a bunch of interior. Oh, here, we'll take a look at this. So if we go in here, let's look at window tint. Yeah, you can actually see what the window tint is. That's kind of nice because typically, you're looking out the outside going, oh, yeah, okay. But I wonder what that's going to look like when I'm driving it. Well, there you go. You get the idea. My apologies that it's not for console. I guess it's a script mod. I'm really hoping someday consoles can take script mods. I kind of have my doubts. And I'm trying not to be pessimistic, but I kind of have my doubts. I just don't see Microsoft, or if either one is going to do it, it'll be Microsoft because of the differences in the fact that an Xbox is basically running Windows. So it is completely capable of running scripts. An Xbox is, as far as I know, if allowed, it would be completely capable of doing it. PlayStation, I've heard, I don't know for sure, but I have heard that that's a little bit of a different story and probably not so easy to get scripts going. I've also heard that Sony is quite not stingy, but very guarding, let's say, of that kind of thing. But honestly, I honestly have my doubts that consoles are ever going to get scripts. I just don't think it's going to be anything that either Microsoft or Sony care that much about to do. I think they weigh the risk versus the pros and cons, the risks and the cons. I mean, it's probably not going to happen, which is unfortunate, but maybe what we might see, maybe, I would say that it's more likely that we will see more script mods being able to be produced in a way that will be accepted by consoles. I would say that's probably more likely than consoles manufacturers allowing scripts. We'll see. We shall see. Just looking at my quick FPS check, seems pretty solid. It's weird. Sometimes this game runs exceptionally smooth, and sometimes I just get little hiccups here and there. I think there's some stuff going on in the background right now that Windows is doing that I should probably check out and make sure I put the kibosh on before I record. I added another SSD to my system, to my PC, that is designated for recording. I thought I would give that a try. Um, all my recording used to go to my spindle drive. I call them, it's old school, I know, probably shows my age. The kids nowadays call them HDDs, which I just find hilarious. But yeah, on a regular standard spindle hard drive, most of my recordings would be to that. It was the largest drive I have on my PC, and so it just made sense to use that. But I started tinkering around and thinking, you know what? I think I've got a spare SSD laying around. It's small, but it's big enough to kind of do some recordings on. And I thought, let's give Shadowplay a try. Let's give Shadowplay a little help and let it record directly to SSD and see if that helps at all. But not that there's any major issues. I think that I can notice a little bit of difference when I'm recording and when I'm not recording when I'm playing the game. I think the game runs a little bit smoother when I'm not recording, which should be, you know, obvious just for the fact that those resources are there or not there. So, but overall, I think Shadowplay does a pretty bang up job. I've been pretty happy with Shadowplay overall. It's a little limited in some ways compared to whatever that, of course, the name I always forget. But, well, it's limited compared to pretty much any other um, recording software that's out there. But for my purposes, uh, it seems to do a pretty darn good job. It's funny, I kind of see the same division between Shadowplay users and pretty much any other software. It reminds me a lot of Mac versus PC or Android versus iPhone. And I've always found those 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 the people that divide themselves up, I've always found it kind of comical. It becomes very personal for some people, and I guess I've never really understood that unless maybe you work at Apple or you work at Google or you work at Samsung. Maybe you've got a little bit of loyalty thing going on there, but otherwise I have seen some of the most brutal personal arguments online of Mac versus PC and Android versus iPhone. That one's brutal sometimes. It's amazing. And I think it becomes personal for people because some, you made the decision to buy an Android or you made the decision to buy an iPhone, right? And when somebody says iPhones are better than Android, that becomes personal because now all of a sudden you're telling yourself, "Boy, you're calling me stupid for buying an Android?" And vice versa, you're calling me stupid for buying an iPhone. It's just goofy to me. It's goofy to me how people take these things so personal. And I'll tell you, in just about every instance, in fact, I'd be hard pressed to think of an instance where one, they always have their benefits. One always has a benefit over the other. It's rare that one is just better than the other in every single way. The closest I would come to that, it's kind of funny, is Windows Phone. And I would tell you, I had a Windows Phone for about 3 years. In fact, during that 3 years, I think I had two different Windows phones. And I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I honestly, in fact, I definitely preferred it even over Android for me personally. I'm not an Android fan just because I don't really care for their interface as much as I do the iPhone. I like Apple's clean interface, so on and so forth. Just a preference. I don't think iPhones are any better than Androids. It's all personal preference. It's like, what wine do you prefer? What beer do you drink? What Coke or Pepsi? I really enjoyed the Windows mobile device, though. I really did. Everything about it was fantastic. The biggest problem with the Windows mobile device easily was the App Store. They just never, it just never came around. Selection was horrible. Um, it reminded me of the earlier days of Linux when, it was like, man, I want that, but I can't find it for Linux. It reminded me a little bit of that. And there were apps for the Windows Mobile, but they were few and far between. None of the none of the main default, games, the popular, super popular games, super popular apps that were on both iPhone and Android weren't on Windows Mobile, and that was its final big demise, really, right? Was apps. If you don't have app support, forget about it. You're done. Yeah, look how nice that is. Other than my misses, look how smooth that is. Super curious about that. And I'm curious about why in the world do I have a single layer of fertilizer? What is going on there? I don't think I ran around the field. No, I'm almost sure I didn't run around our new field with a fertilizer sprayer. Why in the world is there a ring of fertilizer on our new field? Does it have something to do with... Why would that be? How curious. Let's check something out, just for fun. That is so weird, and it's about the width of our spreader. I honestly, unless I am losing my flippin' mind, I am like 99.9% sure I did not do that. And all these speckles. This is interesting though. This is where I use the smoothing tool. These speckles right here. I don't know. Interesting. You may all not find it curious at all, but I am finding that a little bit interesting. Brad, why aren't we putting down fertilizer there? Well, we certainly can. We certainly can. Yep. But I always find it easier, unless I'm using GPS, I always find it a little easier to put down fertilizer after lime, because you can pretty obviously see where you're spreading. And we're getting low on fertilizer anyways. But we can certainly fertilize and lime that field. In fact, that's probably what I'm going to work on getting done. Oh, and the other thing we definitely need to do, don't let me forget to do this. Hold on, Valtra. I think one of our cow pens is getting low on food. Ooh, yep. Okay, so we are pretty low on the one that's downtown there in the village. So we are definitely going to want to get them taken care of. I'm trying to get that hay chewed down so we can kind of start with TMR. How are our silage bales coming? They're taking a while. Yeah, still no silage. I don't remember them taking quite as long to ferment. Maybe it hasn't been that. I know that we just put some bales in late September, but we also had the bales that we put in much earlier in the day in September, and those still, well, maybe it hasn't been that long. Huh. Yeah, I guess it really hasn't been all that long. But we do need to get some fermented bales taken care of because we need to get some TMR made soon, hopefully. I think that's going to do it for this episode of Hinterland. I think we are going to... So these fields should be golden. This field we haven't planted, but we will do fertilize. We will fertilize and lime this field so it's prepped up. And we need to think about getting our cows fed. I think I'm going to go ahead and order some sheep from Heinrich, get him going on that so we can get some sheep into our pens. Maybe a few cows for our new one. We might not toss, what do we have? 275,000, 276,000. We could easily spend 160,000. That would leave us with 100 grand. Maybe we should do that. Yeah, maybe we will. Maybe I'll get Heinrich to get some cows for us too. Maybe we'll go for that. All right, everyone. Well, thanks for joining me here in Hinterland again. I really do appreciate it. I will see you back here again Wednesday. Continuing on the saga. Who knows if I get bored enough? Might spend some money on some other things. Uh-oh. I am going to look into a spinnery for us. I'm pretty sure that's the route I want to go for our first production, new production on the map. I think a spinnery would be pretty sweet. Bakery. The Lort has a grass drying. Actually, this was something else here. I'll show you real quick. I was thinking about one of these. Omatana has this farm productions, farm supplies production mod. It might be fun to put one of these down somewhere because you can produce a lot of things with these, including TMR, mineral feed. I mean, it's got a massive amount of things that you can produce with these barns. We might throw one of those down. They're only 25,000 bucks. A spinnery is 60,000. Is that the base game spinnery? That is the base game spinnery, isn't it? Maybe I'll look for something a little bit more unique for us. Actually, it looks kind of nice here, but I'll look at some spinnery mods, see if we can find something that looks a little bit different for us. All right, enough of that nonsense. You all take care of yourselves. Thanks for joining. Leave a like if you would. I'd really appreciate it. And subscribe, of course, if you would like to. I'll see you back here Wednesday. We'll keep going. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Bye for now.